Hi everyone. So this video is about a premium blogging agent that is built using Lyzr, and that is a multi-agent workflow with code. So we'll be taking a look at more the important things here. Number one, building agents using the studio, and number two, how to write code to use those agents in your code base and workflow, and how to create multi-agents that talk to each other and feed off each other and give us a required output. So step one, let's take a look at the flow first. So the inputs for our agent would be target keywords and top competitors in the space. So this is our inputs that we give. And the first agent is a research agent that is going to look throughout the internet and find keywords and SEO optimization techniques that would help us write the content better. So we could use any of these tools that you want to use, but for now, I'll be using Perplexity. So what this agent does is it does scars through the internet or use Perplexity, try to find those keywords that actually makes a difference and helps us improve in SEO ranking and gives us that list. So when that list is created, we pass it to the content generator agent. This content generator agent is going to actually write the blog for us. So apart from the keywords, I am giving it image URLs as well, just in case to add those embeddings as images in the content. What this is going to give us is a blog that contains meta descriptions, also tabulations, and any links and any image URLs that we've given that is optimized based on the research agent suggestions. So this is the flow for now, and now let's get into building the agent actually. So you should go into your studio account, that is studio.lyzr.ai, and let's move on to agent and create a new agent. So give it a name. The name I'm going to give it is course research agent, and description does research about SEO keywords. All right, now we have a couple of models and providers to choose from. I'm going to choose OpenAI, and I'm going to go with the GPT-4 model, and I would like to be bit controlled, so I bring down the temperature to 0.2. So there are two ways we could write the agent role and instructions here. Number one is we could write it here, you are an SEO keyword research agent, and we could just improve using Lyzr's built-in prompt improvement mechanism. But if you want a more foolproof and more flexibility on doing it, one way is to use Claude or ChatGPT, for example. You go to ChatGPT and you could be like, write a prompt for an agent. Your inputs are keywords, competitors, agent flow, use Perplexity to find top, and output should be list of SEO keywords. This is all that we ask it, and it will give us an AI prompt. So you could copy paste this and use it here in your agent. So for now, I'll copy paste. We could also ask Claude if that is not something we're looking for. So we can see Claude is being a bit more descriptive and gives us a lot of rules and guidelines to follow. So this is obviously very helpful as prove as guardrails for the agent. So you could just copy paste this and make it work here. So I'm going to copy paste the prompts that I have. Yep. Now I've prompted the way I want it. Given it a role, given it the instructions, what it has to do. And now I will give it the tool. Perplexity search is the tool, and whatever I want to do with the tool is what I'm giving here. And for this code and for this agent, I don't want to enable any features, but these are the features that are available. Definitely short-term memory could be handy when it's conversational, but I don't see it being conversational. So I eliminate use of any features. And of course, we could use any of these if we want. And I'm just choosing to skip those. So our step 1 is done. We have created our research agent. Now let's move on to the next agent, which is going to be our content generator agent. Again, give it a name. And a description. And in this, let me take the freedom of using Google Flash. Obviously, these are personal choice, hit and trial. You can do anything that you want. These are obviously included in your credits that you have. So please feel free to do a lot of testing on what agent and what role and what LLM that fits your criteria. So again, copy pasting the prompts that I have. This does not need any tool. I'll skip that. And yeah, I will skip everything and just create it. So right now, we've created the agents that we want to use. One is going to do research. The other is going to do and write the content. So now let's move on and let's actually see how to use this in our code. So step number 1 is you go here. Whenever you create an agent, you see this button that you can click. And this is where you would find the agent JSON and the agent's inference call. This is the curl request that you have to use to call this agent. You'd find the agent ID, you'd find your API key, and you'd find the URL to hit. All you have to do is do a post request to this URL with these parameters, with this API key. That is all you need to do. So taking a look at how we actually do it, let's move to the code part. So moving to the code part, I've implemented the call. So the chat with agent is the actual implementation of the post request. So we would find the headers here, and URL is configured in my env, and my XAPI is also configured in my env. This is for safety and security. This is the best practice that you have to do. And your data is going to be what you call it with. These are parameters I'm passing. And we are doing a post request to this URL with the headers and with the data. This is as simple as that. All you have to do is do a post request to this URL. That is the end of it. Easy. Now I've written 2 functions, which will user ID is something that is totally configurable. You can choose to use anything that you want. In here, our user ID is the email ID that I'm logged in with. This is just to differentiate which user is calling. And agent ID is what you find here. And this is, again, I'm configured in my env. And message is and session ID are something that I'm taking as parameters for this function. The same goes to the generate content function also. All I have to change is the agent ID, and this works the same way. Do a post request and get the response. So this is as simple as that. This is our Lyzr related code that is calling the API. Now let's go to the first part of the UI implementation. I am using Streamlit here. So all you have to do is go to your terminal and pip3 install Streamlit. This is all you have to do to actually get started with working with Streamlit. When you do pip install Streamlit, this will provide you front-end components that you can plug and play and start using. So from the agent, I'm importing the function to perform research, and I'm giving it a title, research, and I will give it 2 input fields. Obviously, the input fields that I wanted are keywords and top competitors. These are the 2 inputs that I want for the research agent, and I'm making a text input box for it. And this is an interesting thing because we will use session ID. That is to differentiate what session that this entire agent should be working on. How to differentiate this is that, let's say you're chatting with ChatGPT. When you create a new chat, a new session is created. That is how you can imagine. So whenever I refresh this, session ID will not be available in session state. So I will create a new and store it here. So this is not very complicated, just a technique that I'm using. And when I click on the button submit, my input query will be the keywords and the competitors. And I will perform a research, and the parameters that I'm taking for this are session ID and the message. The message is the input query, which is going to be keywords and competitors. And I'll get the response, and I'll store it in the session, the response, to be used in the future. This is also a Streamlit related code. And number two, this, let's say we've finished our research. My response is going to be the research, and what do I do with it? I will have to pass it to the content agent. So now that I've stored it in the session state, this response, I will create a new folder that is called pages and create a new file that is called generatecontent.py. Again, in this, I import Streamlit and I import the function that is going to generate the content, which is going to call the agent, and give it a title and try and see if the previous research is available in the session. If it is available, I take and use it. If it is not, I give a warning. And I also add an input field, text input field, which is going to take image URLs that I want to embed. And again, give it a submit button and say input query is the image URLs and research response. And I call the function with the session ID and the message. The session ID is always going to be stored because we stored it in the previous code here. So this session ID, same session ID use, and pass the input query and get the response. And I store this response in another session that has the key content response. This is as simple as that. This is all we need to do this workflow. Let's try and run this. How do you run this? The command is whichever is our first main page, we run that. And now we get to this page. This is the front-end component loading. So taking a look at what happens, the title is research, which is this. And we have a text input keywords, which is this. And we have another text input competitors, which is this. So for example, let's say AI in banking, my keyword. And let's say my competitors are relevance AI, LangChain, and Lyzr.ai. I click on submit. Now let's say what is happening is that this function is being called. The perform research function is being called, which is basically the chat with agent, which is what is happening. Our agent is actually generating the output. So based on this, and Perplexity tool was used, we fetched the keywords. All right. So these are the keywords that we want to use. That is from research. Now we move on to the next page, which is generate content. I could pass an image URL, let's say this image for bank art, and I paste this and I say submit. Now what is happening? The second page, that is generate content page, is taking the research response, that is the keywords, and the image URLs, the one that we passed, and calling this generate content function. This generate content function is again using this content agent that we created, is calling this function, which is calling this Lyzr Studio URL and getting us the response. So now we would have the response. This is the response that I'm getting. So let's say I can copy this and I can paste it in a markdown file, for example, temp.md. And previewing this, I will get the preview of the content. So let's do one thing. Let's try and rank this based on the SEO score. I'm basically copying this and trying to rank it. To rank it, there's a website called Surfer SEO. All I'm doing is copying it and pasting it. As you can see, we get a 57% in our score. It says, it just gives us recommendations such as reduce our headings, our word count is great, our paragraphs are great, and this is the content we get. So this is pretty much how you use your agents and create a workflow that can actually solve a problem that you're facing right now. Imagine your initial draft giving you a 57 score in SEO. That is a problem that anyone would want to solve. So doing a recap, we go through the inputs, we take the inputs, do research, get the keywords, pass it to the content generator agent, give it URLs, tell it what to do actually, and then get the output. To create prompts for these two agents, you can definitely use any LLM out there, or you could use Lyzr's inbuilt prompt improver. That is up to you. The freedom is all yours. And this is as simple as that. And taking a look at how to enable this Perplexity tool, all you have to do is go to this tools section and you would find this Perplexity AI. Since I've added it, I can't add it again. But when you click on this, you will be prompted to enter your Perplexity API key. That is all you have to do. Enter the Perplexity API key and you are all set. You can use Perplexity and do research or do anything in the world that you want and get the data and give it to another agent that is going to properly format you in the way you want. Give it guidelines and guardrails saying, keep it within these many words, keep it within these many headers, and well, you are all set. You have created a decent SEO scoring blog, and just bring down these optimizations and keep it in check, then you're all set. We have successfully done our multi-agent workflow that is built using Lyzr Studio and gave it a front end so that you can interact with it and give it output. Yeah, this is pretty much it. To view it in a better format, viewer, so yeah, this is pretty much it. So we can definitely see it here, the preview. We obviously have our image embedded as well, image embedding saying that is present as well. And we obviously have tables that gives us a summary on what is happening. And we also have a FAQ section. These are all the ways I've prompted it. So feel free to prompt it the way you want. And with that, I will end this video saying the world is your limit. All you have to do is tell the input, tell the flow, tell the output of the agent, create a well guardrailed prompt, give it to the agent, and all you have to do to call the agent and embed in your workflow is just a post request. As simple as that. So I'm looking forward to what you all can build with this power, and feel free to play around with LLMs as well. One LLM could be better than the other or write in a particular way that the other can't. So feel free with that. Use features that you think would be necessary. If you thought you making the content agent conversational, you could definitely enable short-term memory, and you could also give it a humanizer feature saying that write it in a very humanized form. So the world is your limit. Feel free to create any agent, solve a problem that you're actually currently facing. This is a problem that my marketing team is facing that I would definitely suggest them to use. And yeah, that is it. Thank you so much. I hope this is very valuable to you. Hope to see you all soon.